Hello, and welcome to the Strange Scaffold Cool Things Club. I'm Chris Slight, the head of marketing and community here at Strange Scaffold. And this month, we are days, literal days. I'm recording this on a Saturday. We're literal days from the launch of Space Warlord Baby Trading Simulator, our new game, which, if you don't know, is an arcade-style take on selling stocks on the stock exchange. But it's intergalactic. It's set in the Space Warlord organ trading universe, if you played that game. And you don't trade real babies. You trade the simulated lives of babies in like 3 minutes. So you're betting high, you're betting low. And you can also short a baby. That, who has not considered that in time? And I mean, is it a comment on capitalism? Who can say with this studio's track record? Who can say? But if you haven't checked it out yet, it's out right now on Steam. It's coming soon to Xbox Series X and S. And if you have played it and you enjoyed it, do leave a Steam review, because it's wild how much of a difference Steam reviews still make to the algorithm on Steam showing people the game. So we would greatly appreciate that if you've enjoyed the game. Now that we're going to launch it in the podcast, we are joined by the producer of that game, Mike Futter, who, in all the months that we've been talking, because he's, we've talked every day for quite a while, because he's the producer on this game, and somehow I'd invited him on the podcast, we'd got him in, we'd arranged it, we'd done everything, but at no point did I fully explain to him what exactly the podcast was. So, just before we launch into it here, I'm sort of like, wait, I didn't tell you what? But he rolls with it. He's a pro. He's so good. You'll hear it. Anyway, I'll see you on the other side. Enjoy the show. Literally sat here scrolling through being like, I didn't tell you? Let me we talked about so much, but apparently just not this.
But he showed up.
So Mike, please introduce yourself to the people that are listening and let us know what you do here at Strange Scaffold.
Sure. Hi, everybody. I'm Mike. I am the lead producer on Space Warlord Baby Trading Simulator.
Woo-hoo.
I have done a lot of things in the industry. I continue to do a lot of things in the industry. Started out as a journalist. Did that for a while. Became a consultant. Still doing that. And then had a couple of full-time jobs. Now I'm not in a full-time job. I'm pursuing my passion right now, which is on the dev side. I love what I'm doing. I love being the licensing producer on TMNT Tactical Takedown. I love working with our team on Baby, which is our internal, very obvious code name for the game. Baby.
Baby.
And I'm super excited for everybody to get their hands on the full game, because people seem to be loving the demo.
Yeah, they really do. Which, speaking of, if you're listening to this, it will still be there by the time you're listening to this. So go and check that out. We have to let people know that we're not yanking it down today like we originally planned. Going to. Yeah, today is the day that we were going to take it off. So now we're not. Surprise.
Yeah.
Surprise, more demo.
Yeah. But yeah,
find bigger numbers.
Exactly. Here on the Cool Thing Club, we like to talk about cool things. And to kick us off, because Mike, you didn't know that you were going to do that.
Oh, I'm ready.
You
You can make me do it first.
Are you sure?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, Mike. I say that Mike, because we've had Manda on here before. You host a podcast with Manda, right?
We do.
You guys are ready.
Heck yeah.
I should know, but
she's never ready for me.
Feel free to plug the podcast as you go along, but
I will.
By the way,
yeah. There are times we finish recording and she's like, "I'm not sure how much of that we're keeping." And yeah,
you say after recording a 2-hour episode on.
No, we usually keep most of it, but usually there's something where she's like, I might cut that, and then I have to lobby for my craziness. So yeah, the thing that I like, I'm a huge fan of the Kool-Aid Man.
The Kool-Aid Man.
The Kool-Aid
Man. Okay.
And here's why. The Kool-Aid Man.
Who is the Kool-Aid Man? Just to
are you not familiar
off.
with the Kool-Aid Man? So Kool-Aid is a powdered drink that you pour into water and you stir it, and it delivers sugar right into your children.
Yes.
Great. And there's a man that does this.
And red dye.
All right, so let me explain the Kool-Aid Man. Much like most mascots of the era. We're talking like the 80s here. The Kool-Aid Man is a large anthropomorphic thing. In this case, the thing is a pitcher with eyes and a mouth, and he has red liquid inside of him.
Presumably Kool-Aid.
Yeah, which is cool. Well, that's part of why I love Kool-Aid Man. Presumably.
Oh.
And Kool-Aid's Man thing is he like busts through walls. And he says, "Oh yeah."
I've seen this on Family Guy a long time ago. There you go.
And on Family Guy, he's like,
I
"Oh
know
no."
that. Yeah.
Okay. The reason why I love the Kool-Aid Man is he has prompted one of the most important questions of our time. Is the Kool-Aid Man the pitcher or the liquid inside the pitcher?
As soon as you said presumably, I was like, I think I know where this is going. I was like, which part truly is the man?
So I do love this question, and I've asked this question of many people. And most notably at a dinner at GDC, going around the table and everybody's just like shaking their head because it went bad. And then I turned to the server and I asked the question. The server played along, but everybody around me was mortified. So that is one to ponder. Is the Kool-Aid Man the pitcher or the liquid?
I don't have a clear answer on this, but I do think that if you end up with a little bit of the Kool-Aid Man juice inside of you, you become a little bit Kool-Aid Man. Like it's a DNA altering event. You are not Kool-Aid Man. It's not like a complete personality seeding alien style infection event. You've not been intubated, but like you have a child later in your life and they come out a little red.
This is wicked.
Small red dot.
This is wicked.
Yeah. This is just wicked. I think if you want to pull off a liquid, you drink a little bit of Kool-Aid Man. Or end up with a little bit of Kool-Aid Man inside of you.
But I guess my question then becomes, if the Kool-Aid Man is an anthropomorphic, like an actual sentient creature and made of the fluid, right? You would assume that at some point, because of, biological imperative, he must reproduce. So how does the Kool-Aid Man, in fact, reproduce?
I don't have to assume this. I think that there's some things that transcend biological imperative. I think the main thing he wants to do is property destruction, and I think he's like one of the few people who like enjoys advertisement. Like the Trix rabbit is in an eternal suffering. He does not want to advertise. He wants to get his hands on those tricks, and tricks are for kids, and so he's starving. He's dying in the street perpetually. And the Kool-Aid Man, though, he says, "Oh, yeah," and he introduces people for the love of the game to Kool-Aid.
I mean, in some ways, it's very similar to Pennywise, though.
Because he visits successive generations.
He's just luring children. I think I'm broken Candace at this point.
Does Kool-Aid Man go to in the ads? I don't remember clearly. Does he go to like mixed groups, or does he specifically go to kids?
Oh, it's kids. It's definitely kids.
I'm so sad that my face isn't on this recording.
Don't worry, no one will see the face. Like they only hear the audio.
No, I mean, I think it speaks volumes, even though I have no words.
By the way, Candace is filling an important role in this conversation because there is always at least one person in the conversation who wants the conversation to end so desperately.
I think the Kool-Aid Man is the pitcher. I think the Kool-Aid Man is the pitcher. I don't think he's the Kool-Aid.
I think he's the Kool-Aid. So I think he's the Kool-Aid, but I think he is... Like, I don't think he is one thing. I think he is many things, and he is particles, as water would be, and a collection. Like the Kool-Aid Man is a collective in my head, and the bowl and the arms and the legs. That's stuff they developed over time. But like, I think that's a collective being. So I think if you drank a little bit of Kool-Aid Man, you've got multiple things like within you, and Kool-Aid Man.
It's like a fungus.
Well, I say he's the pitcher because if I spilled him out,
Yeah.
I wouldn't look at the puddle and go, there's Kool-Aid Man. I'd look at the picture and say, there's Kool-Aid Man.
Okay.
What if Frosty the Snowman melted? Would you look at the puddle and say that's Frosty the Snowman? Or would you say that was
Good
Frosty
question.
the Snowman?
Well,
Important question.
It was Frosty. I don't know. This is a stupid game.
It's Mike's cool thing. You have to honor it for at least 15 minutes. Those are the rules.
I didn't
this
know.
Conversation
I didn't
could
know this
go
was
on that long, but I think we'll break Candace.
I actually, related question for Chris. Do you know what drink the Kool-Aid means?
There's a liquid. Isn't
So
it powder?
no.
There's a powder.
So no is what I'm hearing.
There's a powder, right? You put the powder in the thing and then you stir it up.
So Jonestown.
Okay. So that's it. I'm aware of the phrase of the drinking the Kool-Aid, which you have to look up to really understand it, and then you look it up and go, oh. So it's not. Don't look it up if you don't want to be sad. But so I'm aware of that. So yeah, it's like maybe it's like you say, like a fungus, or maybe like a sea monkey situation where like you pour them in, you pour the little powders, the tiny little Kool-Aid, and then they disperse. And though we can't see them with our human eyes, were you to look with Kool-Aidian eyes, you would see multiple beings and cities living in there. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
He's a cellular organism within the liquid.
Yeah, made up of many things. That's my thing. That's my guess of what is in there.
I think human perception is and always has been limited by our own perspective and what we're able to perceive. This is part of how we've gotten so many things wrong in the past, is because we're going off of human rules. So honoring that long-standing tradition, if I had to guess what was the pitcher, is the pitcher or the juice Kool-Aid Man, I think human rules, the liquid inside is an essential ingredient, kind of like a person's head. So if you poured out everything in Kool-Aid Man, would he stumble around disoriented? Would he still be like here, but maybe he wouldn't be long for this world? I think that's the case.
If you
I think
fill
that would
the
be
Kool-Aid
akin
Man
to a
with lemonade, is he
decapitation.
still the Kool-Aid Man?
Well,
If you fill him with lemonade, that would be like someone cutting off a person's head and then jamming a Furby on top of that person's head. Is the Furby gonna talk? Yeah, but it's probably not
not your
gonna
dad.
be.
Jacob Geller has a good
reflection
video
of
on
as
that.
person is.
so really, to boil this down, which you should not do because it apparently is Kool-Aid Man's head. It is a vital fluid.
Yes, I think it is. I think it is a, what is it? Is the phrase literally aqua vitae? I think it is literally a essential ingredient to him being able to live.
Okay.
If you can't fill him with lemonade, because if the Kool-Aid were to be gone, Kool-Aid Man is stumbling around. He's presumably been injured in a horrible accident.
Yeah,
Someone says, "I'll help," and then they dump in a bunch of high C, and then he just starts spitting up. He's like, "Blah, blah," and he busts through like 3 walls, and then he dies.
You think
no.
Kool-Aid Man can be hurt?
I do think he can
Kool-Aid
be
Man
hurt.
can be hurt.
I don't think so. He busts through walls all day. What else can he do?
True. I was going to say because he's made of glass, but then I guess if he's bursting through, if he's the pitcher, he's incredibly
I don't know
fragile.
if he can be hurt. I don't think he
You
can
see
die.
him,
I don't
his
think Kool-Aid Man can
liquid
die.
sloshing
Actually.
around. Gods can't bleed, and he does.
You don't know that. What? Show me the commercial where Kool-Aid Man starts bleeding.
So, just to be clear, the liquid inside is a vital fluid, and the exterior is his skin. It's his corpus, as it were.
I mean, not to me.
So it is a hybrid entity in that regard. From my,
So if it cracks
not how I
and
interpret
the fluid
text.
leaks out, I want to go
That's not
back to
my
something you
God.
said earlier, though. I want to go back to something you said earlier. I want to talk about the fact about some of it going into the children or going into you as a child and you growing up, and then there being.
You're
Look on
different.
Xalaver's face
You're
right now
different.
is beautiful.
It's like
It's
the
'cause I'm
first
looking
time.
at
This
more
is the one that
recent-
grossed him out.
no, I'm looking at a more recent Kool-Aid Man advertisement in another tab to like figure out like
Just forget
how Kool-Aid Man has been evolving. And I am fully listening. I'm tracking. I'm on board. I'm noticing a very disturbing I'm noticing a very disturbing piece of how Kool-Aid Man seems to be depicted and how the liquid and his personhood seems to be depicted. Which, if y'all want me to share it, I can. But the theory is...
I want to know.
Yeah, the theory is mid-assembling. I didn't realize, for example, that Kool-Aid Man had a solid period in which there is, like, the liquid inside doesn't move at all, which I hate.
Don't know about that.
Slosh.
They put a big emphasis in more recent commercials as of 5 years ago, the ones that are animated and probably future children, on, like, the glass of his body being a thing that can be squeegeed and polished and maintained in some way. And I even less than the idea of Kool-Aid Man permanently affecting your DNA, I despise the idea that Kool-Aid Man needs to be maintained.
To me,
as soon as you tell me, oh, we have to wash Kool-Aid Man, I'm looking at you like you're a pervert and a freak.
So to me, that jug and those arms and legs are basically like an automata, like a mech. Like that's what that is to the beings within. So it's like I would see them being like, the grass got a crack in it when we bust through that wall. We got to fix that up, or we're going to lose billions of Kool-Aidians. Like,
when did Kool-Aid Man lose his clothes?
He had clothes?
Yeah, Kool-Aid Man had clothes in the 2000s. And now he's nude again.
It's the modesty era.
Yeah, I was going to say, finally. Like,
he's nude again, though.
Put something on, Kool-Aid Man.
I loved his little outfit. I'd dress like that. Like, why did he get nude again?
I don't know. I mean, I think he had a job for a while. He was like salary man, Kool-Aid Man. But
he had a job? Why did they put that into the advert?
I think he worked at a daycare for a short amount of time, and then they did a background check.
Yeah, and they were like, he wishes to spread the word of Kool-Aid. Like, so let's not do that. Yeah, that makes sense. But I don't know. I feel like we need to not focus on whatever the actual Kool-Aid Man's up to and just bear down on solving this Kool-Aid Man problem.
Okay, I've now seen a picture of a nude, like a empty Kool-Aid Man, and I don't think he's that. I don't like this.
I can't believe we have now moved on to Rule 34 Kool-Aid Man.
Yeah, got that quicker than I thought.
So the first person, for the record, to open up that door was Candace. We can all agree on that?
No, I'm sending you the picture I'm looking at.
Yeah,
I'm sending you the picture I'm looking at. He's empty, and I don't like it.
Oh.
Yeah,
I'm seeing that there was a period of time where there was a Kool-Aid TV spot where he was completely clear before and you see him mix the Kool-Aid into himself, and that's awful as well. That was an actual ad spot they did. But going back to what you said of like he had clothes for a period of time, I remember a hip summer Kool-Aid Man, and then now he doesn't. I love the idea of like a trad aesthetics guy with like a Roman bust as his profile picture, who's like the return Roman things, but it's just for Kool-Aid Man, of like the traditional essence of Kool-Aid Man. This is where society, this is what society needs to get back to, actually.
See, like this Kool-Aid Man, I would dress like this Kool-Aid Man.
So, Mike, basically, this is your cool thing? Is this...
conversation?
Is this conversation, like...
Yes.
The thing, and it is a thing that I have learned about you over time. What was it? Menudo? Was that the band you sent me on a complete quest on that I had never heard of, and then ended up spending like an hour of my life looking into like this boy band?
My special skill, my unique skill, is that I dig rabbit holes wherever I go and I shove people into them.
Yeah. Is it like genuinely? He was just like... Oh, I was talking about the Spice Girls, and Mike was like, look at this band. What do you think of this? And I was like, who are these people? I've never heard of them. And then it's like... It's
6 hours later.
Well, no, because it's a band that I think's been going since like the 70s or something, but are still going today as a boy band, because there's been about 3 or 4 different variants of them. And when you look at the front covers of the albums, they seem to change them every decade, and they perfectly look like the exact encapsulation of each decade, like these new boys that appear, and it's like, what is this?
The new boys.
I'd never heard of them, but they're incredibly popular. Like yeah, amazing. So yeah, this does seem to be a very cool thing that you can regularly do, Mike.
You're welcome, and I'm sorry, all at the same time.
Hey, don't worry about it. On that,
We're like breathless.
Thanks for having me.
no problem. No, you did the best with what you were given, which was nothing coming in. So I thank you for what you've done. I'm going to move us on, though, to Candace.
Oh.
What is, straight in. Sorry, I realized you've been through something. I maybe should have picked someone else.
I had an experience.
I'm sorry, I forgot to mention there's grief counselors standing by.
Yeah.
Good. So I was like debating back and forth, and I sent so many different options in our group chat, and I'm doing none of those because that is the most. That is what I would do.
That is.
But if you want to, put some people through some situations and really make them experience life in a new way, I do highly recommend watching the show Taskmaster. I mean,
what a brilliant choice.
Like, come on, let's be real.
Yeah.
So it came to me as my cool thing because I was racking my brain trying to figure out what to bring, and I watched all of I think it was series 17 over the break. Like very quick watch, and it was just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna talk about Taskmaster. Of course I'm gonna talk about Taskmaster. Taskmaster is a British game show, variety show. I don't know how to describe, game show-ish.
Yes.
Where a group of 5 comedians are gently put through hell for our entertainment, and it's very funny. They come in, and there's the Taskmaster and little Alex Horn, who is his assistant, and he writes tasks for these contestants, these comedians to do, and it's the most like, it demands to be thought of completely sideways. Like, it's very fun. If you're coming to this podcast because you're like, I like games and I want to talk about game design, let's talk about Taskmaster game design, because it is like every single task is a riddle and a punishment and hilarious. Of it's like, try to think about a really good one in this last season that just made me lose it. This was a 2-parter task. Said, fill this picnic basket with gifts for one of the other contestants, and they tell them which one. That gifts that suit them. You have 15 minutes starting now. Go. And they fill it. And then, like, way later in the filming, they walk into some, like, random warehouse and are handed the basket that someone made for them. And they're like, oh my gosh, thanks so much. Why the fuck is it like this? And then their task is, draw a portrait of the person who gave you this basket using only the contents of the basket.
Dear God.
Go. And like every task is something weird and inane in that way. There's like different tasks of like, cool, here's a thing where you didn't know what you were prepping for, but here's the materials you have now, like that. Or there's things where it's like, do the most thrilling thing you can with this egg without breaking it. You have 15 minutes. Your task starts now. And it's, or like scavenger hunts, and it's just the most, I want to play it so bad. I want to play so bad.
Is there a home game?
Is there a home game? They've tried to do, there is a home game, and they've tried to do an American version before, which apparently didn't work at all, which I think is hilarious.
No, they rarely do the British version, the American versions of British comedy things. It's sort of always.
There's also a Taskmaster VR game.
There is. I
what the hell is that?
Reviews. But it's made by them. Like, it's got Alex Horn and Greg Davis in it. So
that's so funny. Oh my god.
But yeah, it's a brilliant show. I'm very glad how popular that show is getting in America consistently, like year on year. Well,
it's all free on YouTube now, so
yeah,
it's like
that was
wicked
so smart.
easy to see and share. And like, one of my favorite parts of the show is the prize task. So at the start of every episode, the contestants are given a prompt to bring in an object to be the prize at the end of the episode, and they have to do it to a theme, and whoever does it best to the theme gets the most points. 1 to 5 points. So you get stuff like bring in the most shocking thing, with the knowledge that we're still going to be on television. bring in the thing that gives you the most hope for humanity. Give the thing you are most likely to bring a thing that would make a grandma happy if you gave it to her. And that one really made me lose it in the last season. Bring something in for a grandma, because it was like, well, yeah, I brought her in this full body zebra print bodysuit. That's for my grandma. My grandma loves that. Why the fuck does your grandma love that? I don't know. She's clubbing, doing it, slut drops, whatever. And I was like, what? And then the comedian just does that on stage, and everyone's losing their shit.
It was that season. I was trying to remember what season 17 was, and I was like, I remember her doing that. It was
yeah, you
unexpected.
do.
You were just
it
like,
was
oh.
really funny. It was really ridiculous.
I have a question about Taskmaster, which is something I've noticed. Speaking about like imaginary trad guy. This is me and my wife for reality shows, because you can clearly see, like, in the first season or first few seasons of something like Survivor or The Bachelor or anything else, that people are, quote unquote, playing it in a way that's very real. They are just normal people who have been shoved into a room with Alex Horne and Greg Davies and now must survive.
Yes.
Do you have that? And then over time, people begin to try to not just game the game itself, but are using it as a platform. They are increasingly doing the meta game, and you end up more grappling with the people in their metagaming, being super fans, rather than a untested, unprimed audience being subjected to Greg Davies and Alex Horne. So does Taskmaster also wrestle with that, or have they managed to overcome that?
There's two parts to combat that, because I do think they overcome that. One part is all 5 of the contestants are famous comedians. Like they are performers. And they're told not to watch the show before. Whether they do or don't is, up for debate. And I will say, from the beginning, like from the very first series, people came in with unhinged energy. Like, I think this was the very first series where one of the contestants was like, for the prize task, it's like, bring in something to honor Greg, like to show how much you love Greg Davies. And one of the comedians got a tattoo of Greg's name on his body.
Did he better have won that challenge?
He got 5 points. I'm pretty sure he got 5 points. But yeah, it's not guaranteed. But so we started unhinged.
Yeah.
And like, I also find they're really good in how they do their casting, because you end up with, like, of the 5 people, you have 1 to maybe 2 people who like understand that this is a game and are like trying to figure out the pieces of the game. And then you have like 1 real oddball person who's just like, they're so fucking weird, and that's why their solutions always work. What's his name? Noel. Noel is a super person to watch on Taskmaster.
Which Noel was this?
Noel Bakeoff.
From
Noel Fielding. Yes.
Noel Fielding.
Noel Fielding was good.
Yeah, he is just literally the most zany option. So you have one of those, and then you have someone who tries their damnedest, and they never quite get there. They just never quite understand the task right. They're always a little too slow if it's timed. They're always that. And then there's someone who just has no idea what the fuck is going on at any point. Like, literally,
so people
no
don't get
idea.
eliminated. That you get to see them.
You stay the whole season.
With this.
Yeah, the whole season they are there, and they're just like, walk around this space hitting every 3rd dot. If you hit a 2nd dot, then you have to restart. They put the tasks down, and they're like, I have to what? Like just the most confused the entire time. At no point do they understand the task, which is a different kind of enjoyment. Yes.
Chronic overthinkers. Just go with it.
Generally, if you do understand the task, that will be the moment that it will then be a second envelope appears, and it's like, you now have to do something else. Doing what you just did is now harder because of what you just did.
Yeah, exactly. It's like tie yourself into the tightest knot you possibly can. You have 5 minutes. Your time starts now. And they do that. And it's like, cool. Make your way upstairs and then all the way back downstairs to deliver this outside without untying your knot.
Happen. That's the other thing. They don't always give you like the second thing. So it's like once or twice in a season that will happen. But yeah. So I've fucking loved that show. I've seen all of it like over the years just because it's huge, so like here in the UK. It's definitely, in terms of that setup, the very original form of it was an Edinburgh Fringe show, which is a comedy festival here in the UK. So the whole point of it is just comedians being funny, like so there's not necessarily the competitive element. Like nobody really, the prize at the end is a really bad foam statue that's just Greg's head on like a little thing, and it's also been the same for like 20 seasons, so it barely looks like him anymore. Like, so it's got that for it. But yeah, it's such a good. They always have someone who is an absolute legend of comedy in the UK. So like normally, if there's like an older person on it, they are very famous in the UK and like a very famous comedian. You'll have like a crop of current comedians that you're well aware of, and there's normally one or two people that I haven't heard of before. And this will normally be the sort of, now the show's so big in particular, this is normally also a very good platform for new comedians to be thrust onto the scene. So yeah, such a good show.
Yeah, I've found lots of new comedians from this show, because like you could tell when somebody like has the energy that you want to watch them do stand up or like anything else. Like it comes through really brilliantly. I want to say one of my very favorite prize tasks. And one of my favorite contestants, and of course I'm forgetting his name now, but I expect Chris will probably end up knowing who it is once I describe this task, was bring in the creepiest thing. And a bunch of people like brought in like creepy dolls, like that kind of stuff. Like when you think creepy, it's like, okay, yeah. Or it's like, here's a jar of my baby teeth. And it's like, ooh. Like it's very like, all right, we're going hard. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, all right, well, I brought in this video, and it's a selfie view of this comedian. He goes shh to the camera, and then you see him turn around the camera, and Greg Davies is sleeping in his bed.
Holy fuck!
And Greg the clip ends, and he's just shh again, and the clip ends, and Greg just looks at him, and he's like, was this when you came over for that party? And he's like, yeah. I saw you out. No, you didn't. Yes, I did. No, you didn't.
I don't remember who that was, but yeah. Genius.
That is the energy of this fucking show. It goes so hard, and it's so goofy. And if you want to just see like people struggling to complete tasks of like, from like things where you're like, well, I could do this, to like, I don't know if anyone can do that, but damn, you're trying. It is so much fun. Because
they do a special episode at Christmas and a special episode at New Year's called New Year's Treat. And on the New Year's one, it's not comedians, it's just general people you'd know from the television.
At one season they had she was like a professional gambler. And that alongside the comedians, which cracked me up so bad.
She's so good. Like she's
fucking funny.
A comedian and also incredibly clever, but her first career was being a really, really successful poker player. So when I first found out about her and was watching her, it was like, do you know she was a poker player? And you can just find these videos online of her in tournaments with like the shades on, sitting there like, and it's for like millions of dollars. And you're like, oh shit.
She's so funny.
She is.
Please continue with what you were saying, though.
There was just it will be a minor spoiler for one person's prize task, but not prize task. One of the tasks was just make the most amazing split, and one person just rang their mum and convincingly told them that their dad was cheating. And he was like, he literally ran out and was like, Mum, I've heard that Dad, he's been cheating on you, and it's with this lady. And it was like a person. He was like, it was with this person, and like, yeah, I've got to go now, but I'll have to talk to you about it later. Okay, I'll talk to you later. And then hung up and was like, is that dramatic? And they were like, well, yeah. And then Greg was like, did your mum know you were going to do that? And he was like, no. And he was like, when did she find out that wasn't true? Now.
What?
I guess he was. I think he was joking.
It's so
about
British,
bit, but genuinely,
it's so British.
Yeah, on the phone, being like, "Yeah, Dad's been cheating on you," and it was like, "What?"
Well, she's gonna mash his bangers.
Yeah, she is. But yeah, it's a very good show, and also with the because the more you watch it, the more you'll see there is a thing called the Watershed in the UK, which is at after 9 p.m. you can do whatever the fuck you want on TV. It doesn't matter anymore. There's like there's rules, like you can't shoot a man, but like you can show all sorts of stuff after 9 p.m. And
we've seen lots of butts on this show. There are a lot of
no snuff.
No,
films. Got it.
But if it's a dramatic snuff film where nobody really got shot, fine. Like after 9, put it on. After 9, it's fine. But yeah, there is people come up with some dark stuff over time, but it's very funny. Yeah, brilliant.
It's so good.
That gives new meaning to the term watershed moment. Oh boy.
Yeah.
So yeah, Mike and Xalavier, you haven't seen this show?
No,
it's
yet.
So yeah, it is so up both of your alleys for
100%.
like absolute wackadoo people doing wackadoo things. Like, it is so funny. I cannot recommend this show more highly.
I'm really excited to try this. This sounds amazing, and it has one of my favorite comedians, James Acaster, on one of the.
You like James?
Oh,
Acaster?
he's so good. He's so
I
good.
adore James
His season is so
Acaster,
good. Just start with his season. Just start there.
Yeah, his season's very good.
Okay, good.
There isn't really. I think there's only one or two that I were like not as good, but even then, it's almost like pizza, where it's like. It's still pizza. Like it's still a tick. like it's still all right. So like they're all good. But yeah, that is a very good season. The one with James Acaster on it. Man, I'm so happy we talked about that. I never expected Taskmaster to come up. I should have known. It's getting so big in the US.
I love Taskmaster.
We've had two Americans on it now, which was crazy.
Yeah.
The first time there was an American on it, I was like, what? No.
We're coming over.
From America.
I forget his name now, but he was so fucking good.
I'm gonna look him up.
I don't remember his name. He was great.
I also adore how these seasons are 6 episodes long, so they are eminently chewable, digestible, bingeable.
Maybe they got longer later.
Might be 6, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah, they're super. You can watch them a whole season in a day. It is easy.
Yeah. It's how we ended up watching all of them, just because we'd seen like from the beginning, and then we didn't watch for a bit. But it was during some heat wave, I remember. We ended up just watching loads of it, like on a day where it was so hot there was no point moving. So yeah, and you can. It's so good. And yeah, it's such a genius move. It's one of the first shows I've seen just be like, if you're anywhere else in the world, you can watch all of this on YouTube, like no problems. Like, because it's on Channel 4 in the UK, which is a commercial channel. But like, yeah, anywhere else, they're just like, just watch it. And that's fine. And like, we'll just make YouTube ad revenue. But love hearing people talk about it in America, just because I'm like, it's so good. So I'm glad so. And I saw the American version. It was not as good.
No. Well, Americans don't know how to do that style of comedy very well.
I don't know.
Because it's so, there's a part of it that's very embarrassment based.
That's it.
And that's genuinely kind of dangerous to Americans, I think, in like a not fun way.
Yeah.
It's a very specific kind of comedy that doesn't translate super well. There is a New Zealand version, which is also quite good. I watched it with a friend of mine, and I literally had to ask them to put it on like 1.5 speed because I did not realize how fast Americans speak as compared to New Zealanders.
Neither did I.
I had a very like, wow, I am from a country moment.
But yeah, worth checking out. I would also recommend, just as a side note, for if you're interested in watching British things, I don't know where it's available, but there's a show called Last One Laughing, which there are I think there might even be an American version of it, but the British version of it has lots of people you know from Taskmaster in it. And the premise of the show is just they're in a room for a day and nobody's allowed to laugh, but they're all very, very funny comedians that are, the winner is the last person who didn't laugh. So it's just comedians wandering around desperately trying not to laugh while someone incredibly funny is doing something incredibly funny, also trying not to laugh.
I love it.
It's really good. So yeah,
And I
out.
would fail that so badly because I laugh at my own jokes all the time.
Yeah, me too.
Like, my jokes are to amuse me. If anybody else laughs, it's a bonus.
Right?
Yeah, right.
I've always said that. I never got why people had to go at people for laughing at their own jokes, because I was like, well, if I don't find it funny, what's the point of me saying it? Like, of course I find it funny. Like, that's why I said it.
Oh, one other thing that I don't think I mentioned about the show, but I think is important just to our understanding the context of it is, other than the prize task and the end of the show task, everything else is pre-recorded.
Yes, that is
so
important
like
to know.
it's all recorded ahead of time and people are reacting. It's almost like a clip show in the studio with the comedians and the Taskmaster.
Yeah,
and Alex Horn.
They do, and when they do it, they do one live task at the end, and sometimes the best ones will literally be like, throw a beanbag onto this spot from a distance, and you get so into it, like watching it, like, oh my god, he didn't do it! Like, it's so good. Yeah,
Oh my god.
That's also my cool thing as well. I love it. So yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Candace.
Anytime.
Speaking of me, I'm going to move on to me. Hello. So my cool thing is a thing that I am doing. A friend of mine who is also a comedian, funnily enough, called Steve McNeil. For a while, we talked about wanting to do a podcast together about something. We didn't know what. And then we both realized how much we enjoyed the band The Beatles. I've been really... who isn't into the Beatles? It's not like a revelatory thing to be like, I like the Beatles, but like...
I know someone who very much is not, and I'm not going to out.
If you say Manda, it will break my heart. But there's very few hills I will actually have an argument about. People can not like them. It's when they say they're overrated or not that good or not that talented. Like, because I'm like, you can have all the tastes you want in the world and not like it, and I completely understand that. But overrated? I don't know if we're gonna. But fair enough. People can think what they want. I've been into them since a child. My mum was a fan of the Beatles, so it's like a whole like attachment thing for me as well. Like with that, but it's very comforting to listen to the Beatles, and yeah, love them. So my friend suggested, because I hadn't listened to many of the solo albums, and it's something I always wanted to do. He was like, maybe we could do that as a podcast. And this was 2 years ago that we talked about doing that. And it was like, maybe we could do it. Yeah, we'll get around to doing it. Until I just thought, you know what? We don't have to make everything in our lives content and every interaction that we have into a job. So here's an idea. Why don't me and you just once a week, we meet up, we remove all work from this situation. We meet up, we just sit on a call and we just listen to the album. And that's the first time we listen to it, if it is. And we talk about it. And we've been doing that now for a few months. My mate put together, because he loves stats and whatnot, he put together a spreadsheet and we do a little score after we listen to every track. So we've got a full spreadsheet with like all our scores and like everything of what we thought of each album. And that's part one of why it's a cool thing, because it's a nice thing to do as a friend.
Nice.
Like just to actually be like, let's do a thing. Sorry, Xalavier, you were going to say.
And yeah, one quick question before you begin. So when you say solo albums, do you mean the albums that they made in their solo careers afterwards?
Yes. So anything post-breakup was where we went for, because there's a few solo things that a couple of them did while they were still in the Beatles. But we decided, one, because a lot of them are incredibly experimental, that we were just like, we could just skip those. It's fine. Let's just start post-breakup. That's where we're going to begin. So like 1970 is like sort of where we start. And that's our beginning point.
So, question.
Yes.
Does that include the Yoko Ono stuff?
It includes everything. So the John Lennon... Well, it includes everything by John and Yoko.
Yeah,
so
that's what I meant.
not Yoko separately. That was another distinction we made.
because she was not the fifth Beatle.
No. But much maligned though. If you should really watch Get Back. It's a if you want 6 hours of what seems to be unedited footage of the Beatles in the studio, and that would be something that might actually make you cry, even though there's nothing emotional happening. If you like that, you'll fucking love it. If you're not, you might wish for a version of it that's an hour and a half, like most people I know. They were like, could they not have just made that into a film? I'm like, they did in the 70s, and it was terrible. This is the true cut. This 6.5 hours of me, there's just them just playing the same bit of a song over and over again, and I'm weeping because it's so wonderful. Like,
you get to see, I've seen little bits and pieces of it, and I have never seen something. It's actually been a influence on a lot of the transparency we've been doing at the studio for over the past few years. Is when you see Paul just off in a corner, literally just kind of experimenting with a few notes, and then ending up creating like one of the most iconic riffs of all time, and you get to just see that in real time.
Yeah,
it is so magical, and even if you don't love that song or love the Beatles, seeing a human being process and feel their way towards something
fucking
that
amazing.
hits
is
one of the most magical things in the world. So like I think that this type of a Get Back style, because I love things like No Clip, I love documentaries, but unedited footage of creative conversations and processes is something that I got spoiled for when I was seeing a lot of Get Back stuff go across my feed. And then I've just been raving the wastelands, craving more of that in more places. And I've realized how over time, actually, people have, for a variety of reasons, tried to cut that back further and further.
Oh, yeah.
Like at the end of a lot of prestige television shows, they'll do, here's more about the making of this episode, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But it's just a recap of what you just watched.
With a tiny bit of sprinkling of like someone laughing backstage.
And contrast that with, did y'all, I don't mean to hide, you're talking about a very cool thing
Feel free, I'll get back into it. Feel free.
But there was, in this vein of like how the Beatles have even allowed that footage to be released, right? Like this is, there's some really cool stuff that they've done post breakup. One of the neatest things that I think like is kind of aligning with that is, did y'all know that Ben Affleck and Matt Damon made a TV show together called Project Greenlight that literally showed them taking, Chris is nodding his head, it showed them taking a pair, like a creator or a pair of creators, and giving them a chance to direct a feature film, and like they get to like audition for it, and then if they're selected, you get to see from beginning to end, including an utter train wreck, how that first-time filmmaker grapples with trying to make a show with a full budget.
That stuff's fascinating.
That type of stuff.
Yeah, like, so that, speaking of Get Back, while we're here, because
that rules.
Yeah, like there are bits in Get Back where like that is an amazing moment, like, and it is literally you in that moment. Next to him is Ringo Starr, who's drinking a cup of tea, and George Harrison, who's just tuning up a guitar, and it's John's late because John was consistently late because John was doing a lot of heroin and not a lot of work. But it was there's another wonderful moment of that where they're both joking because they're on camera and they've got a microphone above him, but they come in and goes, John turns up 2 hours late, and Paul's like, hello John, have you got any songs for us today? And he's like, no Paul, but I think we can get the magic going as we go. And you can just see this thing on Paul's face of like, why am I the only one that wants to work? And it's like, because the band's going to split up in about 2 weeks, but it's beside the point. But yeah, there's moments in that thing where they were secretly recorded, like where they didn't even know they were being recorded anymore. They hid a microphone in a plant pot in a cafe, and it's John and Paul talking about how badly they're treating George, and it's just John saying we're treating him terribly, like that he's got like I'm sure he says like it's an open wound and we're doing nothing to help him, like, and you can what are we meant to do? And Paul just being like, I don't know what to do, like sort of fascinating stuff that you like never thought you would hear of these people that was so like, I think the reason I was crying when I first started watching it was mostly because I was like, there they are, like these people that to me are like almost like godly level figures, like mythical figures, like that I just know as images and sound bites and music, like, and their work. And now here I am just watching them. Like, there's one of the best things about that whole thing is just really demystifying what they did. And there's another famous clip that goes around a lot, which is George Harrison, who'd been noodling away on the song Something for quite a long time, which is quite a famous song by George. And he's just saying to John, like, oh, I got something in the way as she moves. And he's like, and I just don't have the next line. He's like, attracts me like something. And John's just like, just say whatever word comes into your head that fits. Just keep going with that until you find it. Don't worry about it. And it's just watching them. And it's like, oh, they're just guys fucking around. Like, they're not like these super geniuses who just come into the room. They're like, listen to my amazing complete song that is perfect. It's like just them sitting there, like, attracts me like a pomegranate is what he ends up going with, because the final line is no other lover, which is, you know, good. But he just because John's like, just say whatever you want, like pomegranate, cauliflower, like whatever, like that's you'll find the word, but like just throw out whatever and go with it. And it's like,
just move past it, just keep going, keep making it. Yeah, absolutely.
Just fuck around, you'll find it. And it's more that sort of demystifying thing of like, oh wow, they are but men. But you find that out even more when you decide to listen to all of their solo output post the breakup of the Beatles, because I tell you what, they've got some shiters of songs that they put out. Like you listen to it and you're like, oh, there's these amazing albums that were so good that I haven't listened to for ages, but it's so good. Like even All Things Must Pass by George Harrison, which was considered the best of the very first solo album. It's got some amazing songs on it, like My Sweet Lord, All Things Must Pass, like so the big songs that were like very popular. But then the album is also really, really long, and it's got a lot of songs on it that have no business being 6 or 7 minutes, and they're just them noodling around, like George and a bunch of people noodling around for like 8 minutes, and you're just sat there going like, oh, like, does this do anything else other than what I'm hearing? And my mate's like, nope. And I'm like, all right, like, guess we're in for this.
And this is why we kill our darlings, right?
Oh, dude, if you want to know killing your darlings, so the last one we did, so like we've gone through a lot of them at this point. Like, what date are we up to? We're up to. Well, no, we're only up to 1972, but they put out a lot of albums between them in that time, and a lot of them feel like you've got, some of them are classics, others feel like you've got 1 to 2 good tracks, and then just these, we're just jamming kind of things. And it's like, did you have to put out an album? Was that what was happening here? Because this is barely a song, John. What are you doing? But it gets a lot worse, because we did what we a lot worse in a way that you're not going to expect. We did last week what we referred to as Stinky Week, because we knew it was coming and we knew what songs all came out in 1972. And I'll start with the less egregious one and build up to the worst one. So the first one we listened to was one by Paul McCartney called Give Ireland Back to the Irish, which, as you can imagine, is a complicated issue that's not fully solved by Paul McCartney's song about it. It does have some truly great sentiments, though, which is him saying stuff like, you know, I love Britain as much as anyone. No one loves Britain more than me. But what are we doing? Like, that seemed to be the general sentiment, which is like, fair point, Paul. But I just think, you know, there's a lot of complicated issues that go into this issue that maybe you're not fully aware of to jump right into. But you're really not ready for the next one.
It was really wild that that's apparently a debut single by them.
Oh, he was like, yeah, let's do this. Like, it's me and my band.
So the first thing with Wings, after Beatles is,
here's my new
let's
band.
do this highly political, complicated song.
Yeah. And he actually, because it was in the same Stinky Week, not that long later, I think it was Mary Had a Little Lamb. He recorded just a version of Mary Had a Little Lamb. Yeah, Mary Had a Little Lamb, which was meant to be a rebuke against the press of like, fine, I'll just record things that are stupid, like Mary Had a Little Lamb. But the problem is, he's Paul McCartney. He does a pretty solid, fun version of Mary Had a Little Lamb, and you just listen to, and I think it did all right, like in the charts and everything. So you just listen to it and go, well, that's a nice song by Paul McCartney. Sounds all right. And it's like, in his mind, it was like, yeah, I'll show them. I'll make a lovely song that everyone will like and buy. Then they'll learn. Paul was never like big on the political stuff. The worst one, though, and again, you're not ready for this. John Lennon released his song, Women Are the N-Word of the World. And that's what it's called. It's not called N-word. It's the full thing. And that's a John Lennon song that you can listen to today. And the song begins with him saying that statement, and then immediately after it, he says, think about it. Like, he's made a really good point. And the problem is, he then goes on to list all these genuine ways in which women are treated worse than men, like how there's a lot of inequality. But then he makes this mad equivalence that like he's come down on that really doesn't help the point he's trying to make. And he keeps saying it, and he keeps saying, think about it. And it's like, John, I don't think you've thought about it is the problem we're having here. I'm thinking about it. And what's even weirder, because you think to yourself, well, this is the 70s. This is 1972. I watched him being interviewed on the Dick Cavett show in 1972, and it begins with Dick Cavett saying to him, well, you know, there's a lot of people that think maybe you shouldn't be using that word, John. Like, I don't think that's necessarily something you should be doing. Like, oh, so even at the time, people were saying, John, maybe this isn't the best thing you could do. His explanation. So Yoko said it to me, and I didn't agree with her. I thought, that doesn't make much sense at all. But then she explained it, and I went, oh, no, that does make sense. And then even worse, I have a few black friends, and they all said that they thought it was fine. I was like, John, no, what are you doing? It's like listening to it and just going, John, no.
So that turned into a Stephen Colbert bit 30 years later.
It's so for grounding your heroes, there is nothing better than really digging into everything they did and then finding all this mad, like, this is not long after he wrote Imagine. Like, that's like, that album as well is brilliant, but then it's on this, that song is titled on the front cover of the album.
Was that what he was imagining though?
I hope not. But
Imagine, I can say it's easy if you try.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was, we were dreading, like, we even skipped a week because we were both not in a great place, and we were like, we literally just ended up talking, and my mate was just like, I don't need to hear John Lennon saying that today. That's not what I want. And I was like, nah, let's wait. Let's do it later when we both feel all right. But then we've done it now, and we can now just get on to what is probably a fine Wings album. But yeah, it's surprising what you find when you dig into the Beatles. But I will say, to pull you out of the shock of that exists, and barely anyone seems to talk about it, but because it's right there, that's just on Apple Music. You don't have to go somewhere dark to find it. Like, it's just right there. But anyway, and remember, think about it. Like that, you know, when something's so surprising that you laugh, like, because it was the first time I'd ever heard it, because I'd seen it and I was like, let's just not listen to that. I don't need to know what that is. Like, it's fine. And then you put it on, and it's just the think about it just made me go, ah! Like what?
The funny thing is, Xalavier has heard me say something incredibly absurd, and I said, wait, hold on, hear me out.
It's like, I did. Like,
think about
more than you have.
That
I've been
absurd,
thinking about
by the
it
way.
for 4 seconds.
Nothing even approaching that level of absurdity.
Yeah, to be clear. But yeah,
another thing.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I'm sorry. I don't want to step on your thing again. But I love this process because it does a few things. One, it demystifies them because it shows them as mere men, people who can also make
the most 70s
decisions. It shows that it shows, I think, some of the advantages of having a long-lived creative career, right? Where you get just this broad band of the things that they're interested in and what they can pull together. I don't know if y'all have are y'all going in chronological order?
Yeah, release order. So we're only up to 72 at the moment. Wings have just begun, but we've been through I will tell you this, you'll be surprised who has the most consistently good albums. It's Ringo so far. Ringo has had some bangers. He had an album.
I'm not surprised.
He loves country music to the point where his second album, he just went to Nashville and worked with really big Nashville songwriters and just had a country album that's really good. Like, you just listen to it and go, that's good country music, Ringo. And they wrote the songs to work in your very specific pitch range, which when you stray out of it every now and again, the songs get very bad. But when you're in it, you're like, oh, that sounds like Ringo. He's having a laugh. Like, that's most of it. So, yeah, anyway. You were going to say
Axe albums, though.
No, yeah, it's wonderful seeing them take also their infinite money glitch, and for example, say I'm going to use my infinite money glitch to get a bunch of country musicians
gonna get the best
in Nashville to make an album with me. So yeah, the demystification, the getting to see these people in a broad scope that makes them more human, but also makes you appreciate them. And also getting to see unexpected bangers. That's when one of the I was bouncing up and down my seat the entire time because I know people who love the Beatles. What I meet far fewer of is people who, even if like I meet someone cool and hip who's like Gen Z and it's like I love the Beatles. I'm like, have you listened to Temporary Secretary?
That's a fucking brilliant song. Fucking brilliant.
If you can't listen, it's a horror. It's a horror track with experimental electronic music by Paul McCartney, and it is
early 80s, I believe, on McCartney 2.
Yeah, deeply in the pocket. It knows exactly what it wants to do, and it does it even if you don't want it to. Like the idea that you can that there is a canon that gets established. I was actually talking to my mom about this the other day, where she was watching a documentary about 1975 that was just on Netflix. And she was like, I didn't even realize they were talking about some of the biggest movies at the time and how it was influencing people's thoughts and behaviors. I didn't know about most of these movies. And over time, any time period, any generation accrues its canon. And we just kind of tend to simplify down to, oh yeah, the 80s, that was Take That and Aha and Madonna. And we get a few select things. And even from those artists, we tend to drop away the rest of it. So the fact that you're getting to know these creators more and get exposed to real stinkers, but also these, among other things, like misunderstood or forgotten bangers. I'm so excited for that process. That is the coolest.
Dude, yeah.
That is the coolest thing.
I want to do more of them with different people because I want to do it with artists I've never listened to, like, or I've never listened to a lot of. Fleetwood Mac is one I really want to do because I am aware of the hits of Fleetwood Mac, but I would say I've never listened to an album by Fleetwood Mac, and I'm like, I should at some point, even if I don't like it in the end. It feels like things you should listen to. So yeah, there's doing that with loads of music is something I want to do. But yeah, Paul McCartney. He had, I found out during the process of like just looking up stuff we were going to do, he has a project that's just under the name The Fireman, which is him just doing loads of electronic music. And he's put out about 3 or 4 albums under the name The Fireman, and it's just electronic music. I found out also this. I found out about this around Destiny, actually, not in the process of doing this, because I remember when he did the song for Destiny, which isn't that bad, and I will not hear people saying it's bad.
I love Hope for the Future, and ironically, have you listened to the remixes? That was going to be the other thing I meant.
Not in a while, but they were good.
So for those who are not familiar, Paul McCartney does a song for Destiny. Of their immense budget, they spent an unholy amount.
Yes. Ridiculous.
Getting Paul McCartney to do a song called Hope for the Future.
They didn't get him to come out. They were like
Abbey Road?
They recorded it in Abbey Road. Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah, because they just got that money laying around at that point. Like, they had a full orchestra and everything. It was insane.
It was maligned at the time, but myself and Chris, we think that it's good. The wildest thing about it is that there are 4 remixes of it. And each of those remixes, like, I don't know how much he was involved with this process. I suspect, knowing his earlier career, being familiar with it, and his solo stuff, that he was actually way more involved and chill, which is why than you might expect, which is why these things exist. But like, there's one that turns it into a Nine Inch Nails style industrial grunge track. There's another one that turns it into like a drum and bass track, and it's still his exact vocals of like, but it gets turned from hope for the future to hope for the future, hope the future, and it goes so hard. And you can just like listen to this EP of him doing this orchestral song about like the potential of humankind.
Yeah.
And 5 like jungle remixes.
Yeah.
2 of which sound nearly identical to each other.
It's
and
amazing.
it's just a beautiful thing of that art. Art exists and takes a bunch of forms. Get beyond the respectable best of lists, and you'll become a better human being.
Dude, you will. It's a thing. And just to wrap on and move on. Sorry, Mike. What was you gonna say?
You have to watch the video.
Yes,
but don't do that until the end.
Green screened. Paul appearing in front of Destiny.
I think the reason why the song was so maligned is because the video was so bad.
Yeah, it wasn't.
And it's like him at the tower, like sort of. It's really weird.
So the reason he apparently said yes to it outside of the loads of money was that he said, I want to make at least one thing in every single place you can make music in my lifetime. And if you look, he's been doing it. That's the reason he did the James Bond theme for Live and Let Die when he was with Wings. He's done full orchestrations. He's done choirs. Like I said, the electronic music he's done. He's like, if I have an interest in it, or if there's something like a video game, he was like, I've never made music for a video game. How do I do that? I'd love to give it a go. So that's how they managed to talk him into it. I imagine also with the loads of money that Bungie had to be able to go, and we can also pay you, Paul McCartney, to do it, and your face is on it, and you say it's by Paul McCartney.
But I wonder how much of that is Bungie and how much of that is Bobby Kotick, because you'll be surprised how many like C-suite executives who, for a vanity thing, will splash out when they would not give a dev team like 2 more months to make a game good.
Yeah, he was like, but I want to go to Abbey Road and tell Paul McCartney what to do. So we're going to spend millions of dollars on this. And I'm a man with no right to sit in a studio telling Paul McCartney what to do. We'll be doing that because I've got the money. But yeah. It is definitely an amazing journey and something I recommend, and also something I recommend just doing, because at first, like I said, we thought, well, it'll be a podcast, and we never got around to doing it for years. And then the moment they were just like, why don't we just have a call an hour a week as just friends, and we can just listen to an album and do little scores and talk about it, and it'll be fun. And it was, and now we talk almost every week, which we didn't before. So it was like brilliant times.
That's something I've been wanting to do for a long time. I'm now going to have to think about doing that for musicians that I'm interested in outside of musicals, because I've definitely done a lot of that for, it's like, cool, let's listen to weird early Sondheim when he didn't quite know how to write a song that made sense.
That's it. Like, if there's a classic artist that you feel you don't know enough about, or just something, the Beach Boys are another one that are in the back of my head. I'm becoming progressively fascinated with the mad story of the Beach Boys, and also the mad catalogue of the Beach Boys. I'm just like, well, what is all this? What is all this? What is Mike Love? Why is he so angry? I don't understand. Like, whole thing. And I'm like, there's just a part of my brain that's growing that, so I'm like, that'll be a thing eventually. But yeah, I would highly recommend it. And yeah, if you ever do one, let me know, because I will gladly join for whatever.
I'm always here to hang out with you, Chris. Let's go.
Yeah, and music is a great time. But we're going to move on. Xalavier, what is your cool thing this month?
I will be brief, especially because I've talked about this a little bit already on Giant Bomb. I did a Game of the Year list. And I talked about one of my games of the year being Absolum. So for those who are not familiar,
what is that?
Absolum is so after Streets of Rage 4, which successfully brought back the franchise and is this beautifully animated, really well-made thing. It was made by, I believe, by 2 French studios who both split off and did 2 basically different visions of how they wanted to handle beat-em-ups going forward. One of them, Guard Crush, made Absolum, which is like with the aesthetic of 80s style, beautifully hand-drawn D&D major fantasy vibes. It is a beat-em-up roguelike. And in the process of playing Absolum, the reason why I love Absolum so much and why it's my Cool Things Club pick, despite getting the chance to play a lot of amazing games for 2025 last year and having a lot of things I want to bring to this club, is I want to talk about Absolum and how it was legitimately life-changing because it helped me figure out something about myself and about a genre in the process. One of my favorite things is when I realize a game or a series or a genre is not actually about its surface. It is about a different underlying thing that when almost inevitably a later entry gets made that is not about that thing anymore, the series completely goes off the rails. So Dead Rising is not a series about fighting zombies. It is actually about time and route management. And that is the chewy core and center that makes everything else work. Gradually over the series, they made it more and more about fighting zombies and less about the timer, less about route management and perception. And that series, despite having, timers are a controversial thing to put into games, but those sales start to plummet as they make the game somewhat, quote unquote, accessible. Because it's not a game about timers. Sorry, it's not a game about fighting zombies or crafting weapons. It's a game about timers with this zany stuff on top. There's a lot of games that in general, especially when I fall in love with them, I realize that they aren't about the thing that they are marketed for or that they are known for necessarily, and that is the chewy nougat around which the rest of the project revolves. Beat-em-ups, in a similar way, I would gently forward, are about memorization. Because if you're going to play, especially at a high level, you get in through the door with a beat-em-up, and I get in through the door with so many beat-em-ups, and I drop them within a level or two. Because you want to be Donatello, you want to be Mike Hagar, you want to be the beat-em-ups, much like fighting games, put so much time and development energy into making every single thing you do monumental because you have a small catalog of things. So every punch you throw out and every throw and every move is lavishly crafted because that punch, among other things, needs to be titanic. It needs to feel like the biggest punch anyone has ever thrown, and it, knocks someone's block off every single time. It is juicy and punchy and snappy. But as the more you play a beat 'em up, you realize it's not actually about hitting buttons frantically and hurting people. It's about 3 screens in, a grenadier type enemy appears from the top right part of the screen, and you need to be ready to counter them or be ready to already tackle them, or else you're going to lose one of your 3 lives. Like, the more you dig into beat 'em ups and into more beloved beat 'em up titles that have come out more recently, the more you realize that this is a genre that if you want to be quote unquote good at it, what you're really doing is not so much learning a combat system, but you are learning the rhythm of a level and of the wider game as a whole. And in a lot of cases, I love the idea of beat 'em ups in my head and as they're marketed and as they do legitimately exist, but the underlying clockwork of that genre is actually not something that appeals to me. It ends up taking more from me than I want to give it, and I end up hitting a level that's too hard or just hitting a general point of boredom. Now, Absolum is a beat 'em up that changes the clockwork, because it's a Hades-style roguelike. So suddenly, the 3 live system and memorization is no longer as relevant. In fact, if they were to retain it, a lot of the things they try to do as a roguelike would no longer work. So, because the clockwork has changed to not be about memorization, the clockwork and how you utilize, your tools with the context of that memorization, because the context is now like a more traditional Hades style roguelike about your health and your management of it, the entire game gets to be about its combat engine. And let me tell you, most beat 'em ups, I think every beat 'em up I've ever played, I've gotten, even with the ones I've tried to really dedicate time to, about 45 minutes in. Tops. Absolum, I have played for over 10 hours.
Wow.
Nice.
Because it's not only is its approach to a roguelike so compelling, it binds its world with narrative context and with stories and with really interesting ways of making a run filled with variety. Not only have they made a really, really good beat 'em up that feels really good to punch people and throw them, and every action you do feels monumental, which was what you would want from a beat 'em up, where you're just going from left to right, bashing and throwing and kicking people. But yeah, I adore Absolum so much because it made me feel less broken. I was like, man, I keep trying to love this genre and it doesn't seem to love me back, or maybe I'm just like stupid or unable to go with these rhythms. And in playing Absolum and seeing changed clockwork, I understood the original clockwork of the genre, and I've, among other things, given myself permission to not play quite a few of the beat 'em ups that I was like, or to go back to them and keep pounding against a wall that is never one I was going to have a good time with in the first place. Absolum is a really, really, really good game that is, because they've shifted what it's about underneath the hood, I get to just fall in love with the parts that I loved about the idea of beat 'em ups, of cool characters doing good feeling, good looking things and unraveling a wider adventure. So even for people who have not liked beat 'em ups or enjoyed them in the past, this is a game I would still recommend because they've cracked an entire other way a beat 'em up can exist, which is very, very special, especially when you can do that for a long-lived and I would say a long-lived genre with definite expectations. The audience often tends to judge what is a good beat 'em up by how well it reflects a traditional clockwork. They've managed to bring in those people and a bunch of new people to the genre, which must have been so hard. It explains why they had several delays, but also they've managed to create something really magical that other people can use as a template in the future, and I hope folks do.
I played a little bit of it myself, like, and I had similar feelings. Like, I've still not got to play it as much as I'd like to, but like, yeah, very similar feelings. Like, and the same thing. I interacted with that in the same way that I would interact with fighting games, which is I see a thing that I think my interaction with it is supposed to be. I go in and I just do that on a controller, but lots of thing like Diablo, like I just do this and lots of things are happening and that's nice. Whereas it was like, no, you actually have to learn how to play this game and you have to actually be good at, like, you have to take time, you have to figure this out. And so yeah, similar like log there for me as well. So yeah, I would definitely recommend it myself.
Yeah, I've played a bit of it. I rushed to buy it because Samantha Bayard is one of the leads in it. Same.
I love Karlach. What can I say?
And Sam's a wonderful person. I love hanging out with them. My question for you, Xalavier, is: do you think that the recent resurgence, starting with Streets of Rage 4 and going through Shredder's Revenge, and there's a G.I. Joe beat 'em up, and there's Reader's Rewind, the Power Rangers game, the new
so many. There's a Toxic
game,
Avenger game.
Yeah. So we're seeing this huge, resurgence of side-scrolling beat 'em ups, and most of them are doing something a little bit different. Like Shredder's Revenge had a progression system, for instance. Do you think that the market was ready for a twist on the genre now that more people, because that's an old guy genre? For me, like, I grew up in the arcades putting quarter after quarter after quarter into the Turtles arcade game, and the X-Men game.
It definitely disappeared for quite a while, and then I'd say Streets of Rage 4, like you say, was something that was like, oh, they're back and good. Like, that seemed to be a thing.
Yeah, I think that the arc I've usually seen for genre, and especially genre resurrections, is something has to be out and traditional, and then it can be adjusted again, because you'll sometimes see people, I think one of the most notable examples of this for a series is XCOM. The XCOM FPS, as originally revealed, still lives in my heart, because
I wanted to play that.
Like 2010, I think it was, they reveal XCOM is going to be a conspiracy-led FPS by the people behind BioShock, and the internet reacts with burning rage. Yeah. They're like, it's not my XCOM.
They were
now at the same time in development was XCOM Enemy Unknown, the game that was more traditionally what people had seen from this franchise. But because they didn't reveal that one first, it burned the first thing to come out of the gate. And that game went through a bunch of development hell, and thank God was able to release something. But it had its announcement derailed by people craving the original. So if Streets of Rage, if even Absolum came out, I think it's still, like, regardless of it is so timeless even in how it feels, I think it would still do well. I think it gets to come into an environment where there's more people who are excited and ready for its gameplay. I think it also gets to be acknowledged as a twist, rather than even say, this is what beat 'em ups are now, which would be an opposite problem. Where imagine a world where Absolum came out first, exploded onto the scene, someone tried to make a traditional beat 'em up. I think it would actually run into the games that came afterwards would run into more of an issue, because the audience would be like, okay, where's my progression? Where's my quest? This is just Streets of Rage. So, to answer your question, I think that Streets of Rage, and in general, any sort of franchise resurgence, or series resurgence or genre resurgence, is rooted often in someone doing the original thing again and good, and then people being able to make larger leaps now that we've established that thing is good and always was good. We just left it for a while. I think the same can be said for, like, boomer shooters. I think if you told a game executive in 2008 that people would want to play games like Doom, like the original Doom in 1992 or whatever, their eyes would pop out of their head. They're like, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4. What are you talking about? But enough time passed that we got to have some indie and retro revivals, and then some stuff that was a little more polished. And now there's this blooming of games that are rooted in games like Shadow Warrior and games like Doom, because among other things, there was a bunch of players that were always down for that. It was just assumed that the wider industry was had quote unquote moved on from a thing that had really spoken to people in the first place. I know people who do not connect with any modern shooters. They basically only played games like Doom, and they didn't have anything to play for like 10, 15 years in that genre that spoke to them. Yeah, Dave Oshry kicks down the door, and there was a game, it was Bunker Punks, if y'all remember that.
I don't.
Great name, but no.
Yeah.
It was doing Doom stuff in a roguelike format. It was, I think it was announced, it came out in 2018, but I think it was announced and had a Kickstarter in like 2015, 2014. And so it made a bunch of people go like, man, stuff like Doom always was pretty cool. And now there's like this roguelike version of some Doom stuff, and it has this neat little sci-fi space. Fight and Rage, actually, which was 2017, is in that way I think a major precursor for Streets of Rage 4, where you'll see the indies come to a place first and really show these players were always here. They just either one, needed a break, or two, kind of got left behind by the wider hand of what it is assumed that players want.
I'm really fascinated because, look, I'm the oldest guy in the room, and usually I'm the oldest guy in the room, but especially today. And like I mean, I was born in 78, so I grew up with Atari, and well, I didn't have an Atari. I had a TI 99 4A. So
sounds like a calculator. I didn't even what even.
I mean, Texas Instruments did make cartridge-based computers. Believe it or
Hey,
not.
there we go.
Yeah. So it's been very interesting as I've grown up watching the evolution of games from almost the beginning, and then watching the nostalgia kind of come forward. And it started with aesthetics. And that was kind of the first thing that people latched onto. And if you look at an original 8-bit game and what people are doing now, pixel art, they've shown that pixel art can be both modern and beautiful and still nostalgic. We are now moving into the PS1 era. So where there are games like The Big Catch, which is an Xseed game, is coming. Very much designed to look and play like a PlayStation 1 game. And it's not the only one. In fact, there were a bunch of games that we saw during the PC Gaming Show when we were sitting around watching together, because that's where we announced Space Warlord Baby Trading Simulator, or we showed it off for the first time. And there were a number of games that really use that aesthetic. We are also at the same time moving beyond that, such that we are getting games that feel very much like much later generations. And two games that I can call out in particular, Eternal Strands, and then I played the Pragmata demo.
Ooh,
and both of them, it's really good.
Yeah.
And both of those games feel like, and I say this extremely complimentary, an Xbox 360 game.
Yep.
That's nothing but complimentary. Yeah.
There is
one era.
And there is
Wanted
something about
Dead
the way they
feels like a
feel.
modern PS3 game with everything that implies.
Oh, that game was anyway. Yeah, I love
Slitterhead. Like there's a lot of that is coming out of Japan right now.
Yeah. I just find it really, really fascinating that we are moving beyond aesthetic, and now we're moving sort of into game feel. And I know that it's intentional, because I know Mike Laidlaw and his team, because I talked to him very briefly about it. I'm like, look, I'm playing it. It feels, and I say this complimentary, it feels like a really solid Xbox 360 game. And he loved it. And now that I've played Pragmata, I said something online, and Lucy James popped back, and she said the same thing. Yeah, this feels like a really great Xbox 360 game. I don't really know yet how to define the feel. I can feel it, but I can't define it yet. I'm sure as time goes on and we start seeing more games like that, tapping into the nostalgia of emotion and game feel as opposed to just aesthetics, it's going to be very interesting, because I think it's going to open the door to creative expression in a really interesting way.
I agree. I am going to have to wrap us up, unfortunately, as we are bang on the time that we are finishing. Well, thank you all for joining me on this episode of Cool Things Club. Thank you for being here, Mike. Thank you are on a very good podcast with Manda, who has been on this show before. Would you like to tell us what it is, what it's about, and where people can find it?
Sure. It's the Virtual Economy Podcast. It's a podcast about the business of games for the rest of us. And it is really designed to cover, it's a news show. Not always very timely, because we're very busy and we don't record as often as we'd like, but it's a lot of analysis. And we do it in such a way with the intent that anybody listening to the show can feel confident in being part of the current conversation. So we try to break things down so that people understand them. And one of the things that we've had to talk about on the show, because it was related to the GameStop thing, is shorting, for instance. So if you're interested, we have a website, virtualeconcast.com. We're also on all major podcast platforms. And we just hit episode 200 right before the end of the year.
Amazing. I'm still making my way through the year wrap-up double episodes that you guys were doing. Those are very good. So
they're so good every year. And terrifyingly more and more, more and more of your predictions are coming true, to the point that I am vaguely scared of you / it. If I listen to this double episode, am I helping bring it into being?
I will say, one of the things that I started back in 2013, my first year at Game Informer, because I was the person covering between Christmas and New Year's, and I had to write something every day. We had to have some content on the site. So I wrote two things. One was this year in trends, so looking back at the year, and then looking ahead at the next year, what I expected the trends were going to be. we have not missed a year yet. Amanda just started joining me in 2018, so we write them together. We have framed out what this series is going to be. I hope I'm dead wrong. That's all I'm going to say. Is I hope I am extremely wrong about what 2026 is going to bring, because I'm
all wrong.
terrified. Yeah.
I really hope we're all wrong about what 2026 is going to be.
Yeah.
Because none of it's good. But I tell you what is good, doing this podcast with you guys. So thank you for doing it. And I do the wrap up afterwards. But Candace.
Go take a nap.
Thank you very much. And that is the podcast for this month. Thank you so much for listening. As a reminder, Space Warlord Baby Trading Simulator is out now on Steam. It's our latest game and you can check it out. Also, it's coming to the Xbox Series X and S very soon. So keep an eye out for that. But yeah, thanks for listening. Do leave a review on the game and the show. Tell friends about all the things that we're doing and tell us about your cool things. If you've got any questions for us that you'd like us to answer on the podcast, we can do that. We ended up super running over this month, so apologies for not answering the questions on the Discord. We've answered them in the Discord itself, so I guess our Discord's a good place to go if you're interested in that. But if you have any questions, get them over to us. We can answer them on the show. Leave them on our Discord. Or you can send them to us. We're on Blue Sky. We're on, I don't know, Instagram. I say I don't know. I'm in charge of it, and I do it along with Christa. So I do know. But anyway, stay safe out there, people. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. And we will see you next month for another Cool Things Club. Bye.